Okay, we're doing some more review here. It says to review multiplication of monomials with numerical exponents and to learn to multiply monomials with unknown exponents. Okay, again, this is review. It's stuff that you've looked at already. So let's get started. Here, what we're doing is we're multiplying monomials. We're not adding or subtracting monomials. The rules change when you're multiplying monomials, and I'll show you how they change in a second. What we were doing in the other two pages was adding and subtracting monomials. Here we're multiplying, okay? So the rules are different. Remember that. Don't try to use the same rules when you're adding and subtracting as the rules that you use when you're multiplying monomials, and vice versa. Don't try to use the rules that you use for multiplying with adding and subtracting, or the rules for adding and subtracting with multiplying. They're two different rules. I'll show you the difference. When you were adding and subtracting monomials, you could only add or subtract like terms. In multiplication, you can multiply even if they're not like terms. So if I have 3b times 2a, I can still multiply these two. I just multiply the numbers though. 2 times 3 is 6, and then I just write ab. Okay. With addition and subtraction, if I had 3b plus 2a, I couldn't add or subtract them because they weren't like terms. Okay, so you see how the rules are different. So here we have like terms. So first we're going to figure out the sign. When we're multiplying and adding, first we figure out the sign. Since both of these are positive, and we know they're positive because they don't have a sign, our answer is going to be positive. Okay, but we're not going to write it, because if we don't write it, everybody's already going to know it's positive. Then we'll multiply the numbers. Okay, follow these steps. Then you multiply numbers. What's 3 times 2? 6. Okay, and now you're going to multiply the variables. But you can only multiply like variables. Watch, you'll see what I'm trying to say here. A times a, what you do when you multiply the variables is you add the exponents of the variables. So a times a, if we add the exponent, gives us a squared, because 1 plus 1 is 2. So this is our answer, 6a squared. Here, we're going to figure out the sign. Okay. In multiplication and division, the rules for signs are different than with addition and subtraction. In multiplication and division, if the signs are the same, your answer is always positive. If the signs are different, your answer is always negative. So since the signs are the same, we know our answer is positive. We're not going to write positive because it's understood to be positive when we don't write the sign. So the answer is positive. Then we move over to the numbers. What's 3 times 2? Again, we got 6. And then we move over to the variables. A times a is a squared, because remember, when you're multiplying variables, you add the exponents. Now you notice that we have the same answers. See here, because the signs were the same, and here because the signs are the same, you get the same answers. A positive 6a squared. Now, if you're a little confused, remember, it takes practice to get the hang of this. So keep on doing it, and you'll start to understand how to do these problems. Okay. So again, we're going to figure out the sign. Here, we have a positive 9 and a negative 6. The signs are different, so our answer is going to be negative. Boom. Okay. Then you multiply the numbers. 9 times 6. Hopefully, you know all your timetables. If you don't, you need to know them for algebra. It'll make algebra a lot easier. 9 times 6 is 54. Okay, negative 54. And now we move over to the variables. A times a is a squared times a squared is a to the 4th, because remember, we add the exponents when we're multiplying. So we get a to the 4th. That's our answer. Here, figure out the sign first. The sign is positive because they're both positive. And then we just here, all we got to do is add the exponents. So a squared times a, we add the exponents to get our answer. 2 plus 1 is 3. So we get a to the 3rd power. Remember, when you're multiplying, you add the exponents. Okay, here we go. Signs are different, so we know our answer is negative. Now we're going to do the numbers. Well, here there's no number, so it's understood to be 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Then we're going to do the x's first. You're going to multiply the x's first. X times x squared times x squared. Remember, we add the exponents, so we get x to the 4th. And you only add the exponents of the like terms. So you're going to only add the x exponents. Don't try to add the y exponents to the x because you're going to get the wrong answer. In other words, it's not 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. That would give you 4, 6, 9. It's just the x exponents that you add, okay? So that's how we get x to the 4th power, because we just added the x exponents together. You're only going to add the y exponents together. 3 and 2 gives us y to the 5th. Okay, our signs are different here for number 6. So we're going to put a negative there to show that the answer is negative. And then we do multiply numbers. We get 6. And then you multiply the exponents. And when you're multiplying you multiply the variables. When you're multiplying the variables, you add the exponents, so we get a squared. Again, the signs are different, so your answer is negative. 3 times 2 is 6. And then you add the exponents again, a squared. You notice how the signs are different in both of these, and you get the same answer because they're the same variables and the same numbers have the same answers. Okay, here the signs are the same, so our answer is positive. 7 times 8 is 56. So if you don't know your timetables, memorize them. It'll make algebra a lot easier. And then here we've got m, and we're going to just add the exponents, so m to the 4th power. Okay, you add them only when you're multiplying. When you're adding and subtracting, you don't add the exponents. Only when you're multiplying monomials, you add the exponents. Okay, here we don't have any numbers, so we know that our answer is 1. The number is 1. The sign's positive because both of them are positive. Your number is going to be 1. You're not going to write the 1. It's just understood. So now you're going to worry about is the exponents and the variables. So you multiply the a times a, and since it's a squared and a squared, that's going to give you a to the 4th. Notice how it's in alphabetical order. Then we're going to do the b's. This is 3 and there's a 1 because when there's no exponent, it's understood to be 1. So 3 plus 1 is b to the 4th. Then you do the c's. 4 and then there's a 1 here. That's 4 plus 1. That's c to the 5th power. Okay, here the signs are the same. So your answer is positive. You're not going to write a positive answer because when you don't write it, it's understood to be positive. And then you're going to do the numbers. Since there's no number here, it's understood to be 1, and 1 times 6 is 6. And then a times a, you add the exponents. When there's no exponent, the exponent is understood to be 1, so you got a squared. And then you got b squared and b squared, that's going to be b to the 4th power. Okay? Looks complicated, huh? But it's not if you take it step by step. Remember I told you that first we figure out what the sign is going to be. Now, when you have more than one monomial, like here, more than 2, right now what we were doing, it was just 2 monomials. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 monomials, right? When you have more than 2 monomials, the way you figure out what the sign is going to be is this. If there's a negative number of signs, not a negative. If there's an odd number of signs, like there's 3 negative signs here. 1, 2, 3, right? Let me write numbers better. 1, 2, 3. So 3 is an odd number, right? So there's an odd number of signs. Whenever there's an odd number of signs, your answer is negative. If there's an even number of signs, in other words, if there would have been another negative here, that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, and you would have automatically, because 4 is an even number, you would have automatically known that your answer is positive. But here we have an odd number of negatives. 3 is odd, so our answer is negative. We automatically know that. Now we're going to go to the numbers. We're going to multiply numbers together. 8 times 2, whatever that is times 3, and then whatever that is times 1. So what's 8 times 2? 16. 16 times 3 is 48. 16 times 3 is 48. And then 48 times 1 is 48. So I just wrote 48. Okay. So we did our sign. Then we did our numbers. Now we're going to do our variables. Okay. We're going to do all the a's first. A squared times a squared. So all we do when we're multiplying variables is add the exponent. So 2 plus 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So a to the 5th. Then we do the next letter, which is b. B squared times b to the 1st times b squared equals 4b to the 5th. That's our answer. See how easy that was? If you do it in the steps that I teach you, it'll be easy. First do the sign, then do the numbers, then do the variables. Remember, the variables are the letters.